Coming up today, we're planting brassicas. We're doing it in a unique way, but you want to get them planted now so they're ready to go out in the garden when it's time. The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener is sponsored in part by, for all your non-GMO, heirloom, organic, vegetable, flowers, and herb seeds, visit dollarseed.com. Sioux Growing Supply, located in Wausau, Wisconsin, focusing on certified leaf compost, an excellent amendment for poor soil, retains moisture and adds nutrients, which equals less watering. Available in Sioux organic seed starting kits, pre-filled trays and pots, bag and bulk. Visit SiouxCompost.com. Organic fertilizer for the health-conscious organic home gardener. Family owned and operated. Visit thewiveggardener.com. Don't poison your soil with municipal water. Attach a body, mind, and soil hose and filter. Free shipping exclusively through the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com. Just click on the body, mind, and soil icon. Authentic Haven brand soil conditioner for the home gardener. Easy to brew, 100% organic. Visit MinerTea.com. Welcome to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. I'm Joy Baird. It's time to start our brassicas indoors. Now, brassicas are a term used for a collection of cool weather crops. Now, that's broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, kale. We're also doing some cabbage, some collard greens, and different types of broccoli here that we'll be planting in our 9-ounce plastic cups. Now, you can start them in anything you want. You can start them in 1-inch, or these are 3-inch plastic cups. You can start them in the starter trays. You can even do them in 50-cell trays like this. We find by doing it in the 9-ounce cups, we're going to plant 10 seeds in each of them. And that's going to give us enough time to get established. So we're going to do 10 seeds in each cup. Each variety is going to have, excluding the kale, is going to have 20 seeds. Then we'll take our 10 best seeds and move them to probably our 50-cell tray or another device to get them out of these 9-ounce cups. This is just a starter. This is allows us to maximize the space that we have by putting them in these little containers that Holly got from the nursery job she had last year, and we were able to take several of them because that's what they were going to recycle them anyway. So it works well for this. This is what flowers come in if you buy them, or you can find these on junk day real early in the spring as people buy the flowers up from the garden centers. If you don't have something like this for your 9-ounce, 12-ounce, or 16-ounce plastic cups, cupcake tins work well also. Very well also to house your 9-ounce, 16-ounce, or 12-ounce plastic cups to keep them from falling all over the place. So it's pretty simple. Now, what we've done here, you can take the top from a milk jug, or if you have a canning funnel, that'll work well also. We filled these with professional potting soil from SiouxCompost.com, and I'm just going to top off these final 3 here, and you can just take and you want your potting soil to be a little on the dry side to allow it to go through the funnel, and this way you're not spilling it all over the place like you traditionally would if you were trying to pour it in without a funnel. Okay, so now, when do you want to start your brassicas? You want to start these about 4 to 6 weeks prior to your last frost date. In order to find your last frost date, you can simply go to your favorite search engine and type in last frost date for zip code, insert your zip code there, and that'll give you an approximation of the last 10 years of data that's been recorded. Now, you can start these a little earlier, and you can also start these a little later. Do keep in mind that these are cool weather crops. Some of these, for example, the broccoli, the cauliflower, the Brussels sprouts not so much, but some of these leafy Asian greens, these will start to go to bolt, and that's when they put a seed pod or begin to flower. And this is all due to the increased length of daylight during the spring months. If you have a problem with items going to seed or bolting, you can start these later in the fall, and you can actually get 2 crops out of them if you plan it out right by backing off of your last frost date. These can handle a frost to a certain extent. They just can't handle prolonged freeze in your garden. So if you're planting these in the fall, you can just back off from your frost date based on which one you're growing, the days that are required, and then you should be okay, and they should thrive a little bit better in the fall. But we're going to start them in the spring, as well as we're going to try based on how successful they are if we're going to grow these in the fall as well. So it's really simple to do. Now, like I spoke about in these cups here, we're going to put 10 seeds, or approximately 10 seeds. You always want to make sure you label what they are, because when these come up, these are all in the same family, and they're all going to look identical. And that's not something you want to get confused if you think you're planting broccoli in a certain area and really turns out to be cauliflower or Brussels sprouts. So if you're planting in like a normal 6-pack cell, you can put 2 seeds and then cut off the weakest one or the smallest one, and you can move them out when the appropriate time comes, and you can harden them off. With these, we're just going to plant 10 seeds, top dress them with a little more potting soil, and then we will go ahead and extract 10 of the best out of the 20 and then go from there. So these seeds are extremely small. Now, they're not as tiny as some of them, but they all look identical when it comes to the type of seed. They're all very, very similar in shape, size, and color. So I'm just going to basically just kind of do my best to get about 10. And basically, I'm not really counting, I'm pinching what I think is about 10, because it really makes not that big of a difference. And then we will top dress it with just a little bit of potting soil, professional potting soil, just to get them covered. Now, the problem that many people may face when starting seeds indoors is dampening off. Now, that's a horticultural term, meaning there's a pathogen in the soil due to excessive moisture that when the seedlings begin to emerge out of the soil, they'll get, about ½ inch or inch tall, and then they'll just fall right over. It just looks like you cut them off at the soil base. Now, what you can do to help increase the likelihood that your seedlings will not have that happen is just take an ordinary household cinnamon, and we're just going to take a little bit here because you just need a little bit, and we're just going to pinch a little bit on top of where we planted the seeds. Now, the cinnamon has something in it that helps rid off that pathogen that can cause dampening off. So in the past, if you have started seeds and they look real good and all of a sudden they all begin to fall over like you're cutting them down for harvest or microgreens, that's what's happening. They're dampening off. So household cinnamon will greatly reduce the chances of that happening. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish planting these, then we'll come back and water them in. All right, now I've got them all planted, and I'm going to water them in. I've put the cinnamon on top to help try to rid off the dampening off, and I'm just going to add a little moisture to them. Now when I planted the seeds in each cup, much like you would in a traditional seed tray, I tried to sprinkle them out so they weren't all trying to grow in one location. If you're planting in a seed tray, you want to go all 4 corners or opposite corners. You want to kind of give the plants the opportunity to spread their roots out. So with these, I just kind of did my best to move them around or sprinkle them around to where they all had a little area for themselves. And then with the cinnamon, I'm just going to water it in. That'll kind of dissolve into the soil as well. So brassicas, 4 to 6 weeks before your last frost date. You can also plant them in the fall and back your dates off on that. And you want to plan this accordingly because these are not warm weather crops. They do not like the heat of the day. So if you do run into areas, if you're in an area where it gets very warm, you might want to consider to try to grow some of these in partial shade locations. Like the kale, we grew that in a partial shade area last year. Didn't thrive as well because we had some soil issues that we're fixing, but it did grow well enough. partial shade 4 to 6 hours. So that's something you want to think of, and the red cabbage did relatively well in that partial shade as well. So, and think about that, as well as these don't have to go into traditional ground. If you have container gardening, these will work as well, or raised bed gardening also. So 4 to 6 weeks before your last frost date, get your brassicas planted. Thanks for watching. Join us again next time for more organic gardening and food preserving. I'm Joy Barrett, and this has been the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. I'm Joy Barrett.
And I'm Holly Barrett. We want to invite you to check out our free edition of our digital magazine. This is the first one of 2015, and it's the winter edition.
We cover on how to plant onions, basic understanding of peppers, and talk about Jerusalem artichokes, how that might be a perennial vegetable that you want to include in your vegetable garden this year.
We'll also do an interview with Amy Jeanroy. She's one of the authors of Fermenting for Dummies, and she's got some really great information for you on fermenting and canning, so you want to check that out as well.
So check it out. That link is in the show notes below. You can download it for your leisure, or you can read it online, our digital 2015 edition 1.
For more information, please visit thewwisconsinvegetablegardener.com.